mean, everything we've done every single week, the constant preparation that was done in the off season and the execution on a weekly basis. So we're doing us, and it worked out.
Yes, it did. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome in to Good Afternoon Michigan Football here on the Maize and Blue Review. I'm Dennis Fithian, and it's great to be here with you. And that was JJ McCarthy, and thanks to Fox for the audio from the sophomore Michigan quarterback. We're ready to get things underway, and the Maize and Blue Review, we're here live weekdays at 1 o'clock talking about the latest in Michigan sports. We're on also after Michigan football and basketball games, and so we were on after the Big Ten title game on Saturday. We're on yesterday after the Michigan-Kentucky game in London. We'll talk with a former Wolverine coming up. We'll connect with him in about 2 minutes. Jim Scarcelli will join us. That's just straight ahead, but I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone. I'm really appreciative of everybody tuning in to the VCast, to the podcast, people that take the time to leave messages so that we can communicate during the show. You're a big part of this, and it's been a very memorable year, to say the least. As a youngster, I always wanted to work in sports. And I loved playing basketball, and I loved all the sports. And, growing up in Detroit, I loved the Tigers and the Pistons and the Red Wings. And I loved the National Football League with the Lions in it. But one sport and one team stood above the rest, and it was Michigan football. It had everything. And they were number one before I could even remember anybody's name. Just when I knew the Maize and Blue. And they have continued all throughout the years. Everything that you want, it's there. They're unmatched. They're right at the top. They bring it, Michigan football. And as I sit here on this December the 5th, it's never been more clear. There have been some times where you go through it. Not every season is a championship season, as we all know. But these are days, and these are games, and this is a time period that we will all look back on very fondly. And this past Saturday, it was just another one of those mile markers here for this particular team, and sitting here at 13-0. And, last year was a great season. And it was there were so many things that you didn't think about where, oh yeah, boy, this is really a nice part of Michigan winning the Big Ten, beating Ohio State, going to Indy, of going to the college football playoff. It was a springboard into the off season. Like, man, this is very enjoyable. This is so much fun in the off season. And then this season is even better. And, here they are springboarding for the rest of 2022 into the semifinal. And this time around, Michigan football fans, JJ McCarthy, you heard from him right there. People are looking at this the semifinal with TCU, and they're saying, yeah, bring it on, TCU. And they're also looking to the national championship game on January the 9th in LA. And they're saying, let's go. Why not Michigan in the national championship game? It seems like a very realistic expectation because it is. So it's congratulations to everyone. I want to take this time to congratulate you again, because this is what you wait for, this is what you hope for, and you got it, which is a great thing. What also is a great thing? It is the Maize and Blue Review. And sure enough, I work here, but I do want to tell you this. I am telling you with 100% truth and assurity that the gift, if you like Michigan football and basketball, you like Michigan sports the way I like them, well, there would be nothing that I would like better underneath the Christmas tree than the gift of the Maize and Blue Review this holiday season. Forget cookies and ice cream and ties and golf balls and all that. Those things are nice. But how about a subscription to the Maize and Blue Review? Go to Michigan www.rivals.com, and we will see you there. I hope to see you there on the Maize and Blue Review. Let's talk to Scar. Let's get to him right. And here he is. Scar, how you doing?
Danny, we are all fired up. Michigan people are fired up. We've got a Big Ten championship won and done with, and the players can take a little break, get some of these bumps and bruises healed up. And I remember it as a player, and they'll have a little time off, and then they'll get into bowl conditioning, running and lifting before they start putting the pads on again. But it's a great time of year to be a Wolverine, man. We got great news. We got Harbaugh. I'm back. Pro football is done. We got Sanistral back. So, we got good news.
Yeah, it's almost like it's just the good times keep happening. The good news keeps coming your way. What's it been like since Saturday night? It was late into the night. We did a post-game show. Were you able to get to bed with a big smile on your face, and then wake up real early Sunday, doing your big workouts, and everyone running around at the gym with your Michigan shirt on, everybody coming up, giving you a little dap. And then, you were right about the college football playoff. You were saying this is the way it should be. These are the most deserving teams. I was very skeptical. I thought that, Alabama would be put in there, but I got to give it up to the committee. They did not fold, and they put the most deserving teams, and they ranked them the right way. So that's another thing that's really good news for Michigan, how it ended up unfolding there. But, nice job. You were correct on that one as well.
Well, it made sense. TCU was, they played the extra game, and they were an undefeated team. And, how can you reward Alabama with 2 losses? I know they were on the road, but look, it's a great situation for us. Let Georgia and Ohio State, let them deal with each other. And we can beat either of those guys. And I'm glad we're facing a good TCU team. We'll have a good thorough breakdown next week. I'll hit it quickly today, but they're a good foe. But I like our matchups. I like our chances. And the playoff is going to be a nice deal. We're going to Arizona, and my last game as a Wolverine in Arizona, we came out winners. So I don't know I think we did. I think Brady Hope might have lost there against. I think that game was when we played Kansas State. But I think we've done well in Arizona, and we'll have time to get healed up, and we'll be ready.
All right, that's a good start. You're talking about not only going to the playoffs, but liking the matchups, and sound like you think they can win it all. Well, here's the schedule of events here just for the next couple minutes or hour or so. We'll talk about those Horned Frogs and what Scar saw from them over the weekend and the entire year. Scar's been hot as a pistol when it comes down to picking the game of the week. We'll have him make another pick. His very popular and educational film analysis is on tap. But we'll start with that Big Ten title game. And then you get a couple days. Now we're into Monday afternoon, and being able to talk about your, the dust is settled. Get some thoughts looking back to Indianapolis and a game that ended up being a pretty long game. We were on early into the morning on Sunday, but Michigan wins that game 43-22. Scar, was a lot like their formula really the entire season. A close first half, so a lot of things to like, some things also maybe like, oh no, man, this one's going to be tight. But then they come out in the second half and big plays, executions, touchdowns on the first 2 series, and they just kept it going. They end up doubling up. Purdue 43, almost doubling them up, 43-22, the final there. But a lot of big plays, a lot of heroes in the game, celebration afterwards. So where do you start talking about the 2022 Big Ten title game?
I would start with the defense. Purdue's strength is they score a lot of points. Jeff Brom's strength is he's a heck of an offensive coordinator, offensive play caller. And, you keep them. The red zone was the difference. And I saw that team go up and down the field all year long against a lot of teams. I've seen them play many times. And that's a good team. They're very well coached. I'm glad Jeff Brom is not coaching in Columbus. Let me just put it that way, because he's a good coach, and he's got a walk-on quarterback. He's got I don't even know if he was recruited running back, and he just got players that they're not the most highly recruited kids, and he's done a really good job with them. Ron English did a good job. He didn't make things easy for us. We're going to show you some of the film. We just had better players that made some of their guys miss. But, it's we were patient with our run game. We got the thing going. The ability for our running backs to secure the football was big. But they didn't give us anything easy. They didn't make it easy for us. We had to, fight and struggle to move the football. And, they had good adjustments. They knew what we were doing with formations a lot of times. And I give Ron English credit for that. But it's a great win. We came out healthy, and Denny, we're moving on, man. But we'll look at the film.
I don't know how many teams can lose their MVP. Michigan lost Blake Corum for that game, and then you come back with not only a suitable replacement for a star, I mean, the MVP of the team, and Blake Corum, to slide Donovan Edwards in there. And I know that he did it the week before at Ohio State, which is amazing. But he just comes back again, and 25 carries for Edwards, 185 yards, impressive all the way around there. There's a lot of things to talk about. That part of Edwards stepping right in there in those big shoes to fill, and not only filling them, but doing great, amazing.
Yeah, Denny, that's a big part of coaching. I know when I coached, it's sometimes when you lose a player, if it's a defensive kid, you got to try to find ways to, how can you get more defense to where he played? How can you hide his loss, and defend his loss? And then on offense, well, maybe you got to run JJ more, or you got to throw more, or you got to do more bubble screens, or you got to and our coaches did a good job with it. But Donovan was, you think about the development of him, all those reps last year, Denny, all those reps he got as a true freshman, and then all the, the backup reps this year, and all those things played into his really good, solid last, 2 games performance. And he's just going to do nothing but get better. And that's why you got to recruit, man. You got to recruit depth. You can never have enough good football players. And then you got to be smart enough to know how to develop them. And that's a sign of recruiting and coaching, developing players, preparing for the worst.
Yeah, and maybe you take a guy over from the defensive side and put him on the offensive side and give him 8 carries and have him end up scoring 2 touchdowns for you in Khalil Mullings. I mean, that's another thing. Like, you were talking all year long about who's going to be that third back? Who's going to be that third back? And there were a lot of different guys, candidates there. But when it came down to it, Mullings, whoever had that on their bingo card, is sitting pretty with being able to talk about that. That was
we didn't, Denny, we didn't see Stokes much. I don't know that he played at all. Dunlap a little bit in there, but you're gonna look at some film here, and when I watch Mullings in there running the football, and I see how he hits that line, I see what they like in him. He's a 235-pound kid. He's bigger than I thought he was. I looked at the program.
He's 6'2".
That's a Haskins type kid, man, and I see what they like, and it's encouraging. Yes, Donovan is going to give you that breakaway stuff. But this kid can give you some of that physical stuff. And as long as he secures the darn football, knock on wood, I can see why they play him.
Well, Harbaugh all along from, I don't know, was it the Panda Hill was back there. He's a gigantic short yardage situation guy a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then the bench also a few years ago. Guys, the real thumpers, with some size. So, that's a big deal. Harbaugh likes that. I go back to the non-conference slate in those first couple of games. I would have to look at every one of Donovan Edwards' carries and Blake Corum too. But the question, we talked about it ourselves, like, who's going to be this, the short yardage back, goal line back, who's going to run the ball between the tackles. Both of those guys, I'm sure that Mike Hart said, we're going to see it in these games. We want to see how you can run the ball between the tackles. And it seemed like Edwards, I would bet, without going back and having looked at those 3 games and every carry, that he had more carries right up the middle in those first 3 games than he had any, let's get him on the outside, let's throw him the ball, all of that stuff. Tough running right up the middle because they needed to see it. And, he showed something in those first couple games.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but again, you don't want the defense to say, okay, 20's in the game. That means inside run. 7's in the game. That means outside stuff. The defense has to honor everything. And maybe this guy does it a little better. Maybe Mullings is a little better on the inside stuff, and Donovan's a little better on the outside stuff. But the defense, they cannot get a beat on that. Otherwise, that's not a good thing. You want to be able to run your whole offense with both guys and just say, okay, this guy's a little better at that, and this guy's a little better at that. That's the way you want to present your offense.
There wasn't one head coach currently or in the history of football that was thinking, oh, hey, 20's in the game. Let's look out for the jump pass from like the 30-yard line or whatever that was. That was really something against Ohio State. A play that will live forever in Michigan football lore. And then when you have, you beat Ohio State, you're undefeated. Now, you're ticking them off 13-0. All of the plays, and, I go back and recite what's going on with 97, like, oh yeah, this series, that series, and all the way back. I look at this games in the 70s and that 85 defense that you're familiar with. Like, there's all those games and all the history. But when you do it and you get a Big Ten championship, and with this particular team now, being 13-0, it's like all of these things that we talk about are going to be talked about for forever. So it's great to be a part of it. All right. Any last thoughts on the Boilermakers and Jeff Brom, who might be
just quickly, Danny, our coaches, yes, we have a foundation of being, we run what we run, but we always will have something different. Last year we had the halfback pass. We had the Statue of Liberty against Ohio State. We got the flea flicker in there. This year and I have never seen Jim run the swinging gate since he's been at Michigan. We haven't ran it. So now, but people have to look at that stuff. Coaches are going to, even though it was last year, they know, hey, okay, they got it in there. This Donovan Edwards kid, he can throw the ball. They look at our spring game. Alls can throw the ball next year when he comes back. But it's good that stuff's in. And, Denny, real quick, I wanted to get some Big Ten stuff real quick. Rule is putting his staff together. I'm interested in what he does because we play them. That's one of our first Big Ten games next year. I'm seeing the quarterback at Wisconsin is getting in the portal, and he brought Jim Leinart back to coach the defense. So that's some of interest. And I think Deion being in Colorado, I think that can hurt USC and UCLA, Denny, because Bill McCarthy went to California, in Southern California. He made a living building that Colorado program. But I bet Deion has similar plans. I know I threw a couple things at you, but I just wanted to throw out some Big Ten thoughts that I think are going on out there.
Yeah, prime time in Boulder. I can see that affecting all of college football, but you're right. I'm sure prime time is going to go into Southern Cal and be like, let's go. Let's come on up to Colorado. Let's do something there. Yeah, he's going to be a factor. I'm a fan when he was a player, and I'm a fan of Coach Prime and what he's been doing at the college level. So we'll see what he does.
Danny, what I like about Deion Sanders is he did it the hard way. He went to high school and coached and built a program and won. And then he took another program. I just like guys that don't whine and complain why they don't get the big job right away compared to the guys like what Deion's done. Take a small job and prove yourself. Take another small job and prove yourself, and now you get the big job. So I really respect that for coaches that do that.
Yeah, I think that part of it. The other part, if you say he's real, I mean, he's himself. You better be yourself when you're a coach. You come off phony and everything, but when it comes to coaching football and what Primetime's doing, he hasn't changed that much. Sure, you're older and you're more mature and everything, but when I listen to him talk, like, you could sit down with Deion and you don't have to worry about, let me tiptoe around this. So just go ahead and ask him. Hey, Prime, you're going into California, and he might say, yeah, we're going to California. You're damn right. And so I like that. You don't feel like you need to move around anything or couch anything. Ask him a
But
question.
Denny, real quick, I heard he offered a kid over here from Harper Woods, the Snowden kid. So I heard he's already. And Coach Mack came into Michigan and Detroit and recruited a lot of kids. So Deion might look at that playbook.
Well, I changed my mind. Forget it. I wish Deion would have stayed. Where he was. All right, now, so you're saying that Sonny Dykes will have to prepare for the swinging gate and some other things when he sits down and starts looking at Michigan in his matchup on December the 31st on New Year's Eve. We already have seen that Michigan has been installed as nearly a double-digit favorite, 9.5 points, and I was surprised that TCU got in. I'm also surprised that they made the West Coast game or Arizona game the 4:00 game, which ends up being the early one as it plays out there. So that's good, for people that like to get out and I don't know what you like, going out and get one of those funny hats and and having fun on New Year's Eve and everything. I'll be watching the nightcap myself. So how about your thoughts as we get into TCU and Sonny Dykes, who is in his first year with the Horned Frogs after spending 5 years at SMU, 4 at Cal, and starting out 3 years as a head coach at Louisiana Tech, but a guy who played baseball in college at Texas Tech, where his daddy was the football coach. That's an unusual way to get into college football, being a baseball player, but here he is, and he's had a hell of a year.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. There's a lot of coaches that never played football. Jed Fish at Arizona never played football. Mike Leach never played football, and I don't know if this coach ever did either. But his dad was a coach.
Played high school.
Yeah, played high school. But real quick about Arizona. We're going to be playing on grass in the dome there. In that indoor dome. So they got to go on. They play on turf. We play on turf. So we'll both be on grass for the first time, playing indoors. Fast surface. So no real advantage there. I like the fact that they got to travel also. I never liked the idea of us going to California playing USC so they got to travel. We got to travel. So, no big advantage there, but this guy's, he's a proven coach. He struggled at Cal, but he's always was an offensive mind. And, I see them if you're asking me about Sonny Dykes, I think the first thing he's worried when he looks at Michigan, he's thinking about number 84, 86, 18 in the big tight ends. And when we get that offense going, because I think their defense 3-3-5 is it. Listen, every defense has its strengths and weaknesses, but I think that defense is really, really designed to stop the spreads. The 2 receivers here, 2 receivers there. And do those kind of things. They do a decent job structurally against, the tight ends, but I think it's more designed to stop the spread. So that's where we got to be good. We got to force their linebackers to play over tight ends or play over tackles, and we got to force their safeties to play and take on blocks from tight ends. So that's where we got to get the advantage real quickly on offense. That's kind of how I see it there. And then our defense, look, they got a tough QB. He's a good player. He's accurate, and really, really good receivers. The receivers are pretty darn good. They're going to spread the field. But I think it's the same thing it's the same thing with these spread guys, Denny, is like playing Purdue, playing Ohio State. They're going to move the ball up and down the field, and then they have trouble in the red zone. But this is where they want to run the heck out of their quarterback. Our coaches will see it. I watched TCU play a couple times this year. Red zone means quarterback run big time. Short yardage means quarterback run big time with this team, and they're not afraid to run them. But they're it's not. Listen, this is a semifinal game, and they're a good team, but we're not going against the kind of offense that we saw last year with Georgia, or the kind of defensive line we saw last year with Georgia. These are good players, but this is not going to be a whole lot different than defending Maryland, or running the ball, against Iowa's defense or something like that. But I feel real confident. But it's not a lamb chop team. We got to play We got to play. We secure the football and be great in the red zone, and we got a good chance. If be great in the kicking game, got a good chance.
Yeah, if I was a Michigan fan, I'd be encouraged about the Wolverines' ability to both run and throw on that Horned Frog defense. You mentioned you watched TCU a couple times this year. They played in a lot of interesting, close games, exciting games, and the Big 12 championship game was exciting. And I'll tell you, Max Duggan, number 15, Big Red, 6'2", he put on an incredible performance. I mean, at the one point, he's down. He gets into the end zone, runs for a touchdown, and he's so gassed there. I think that we're going to have to call a timeout. And in the end, you talked about him running in short yard situations and especially in the red zone. I agree with you. And yet with their perfect season on the line and from the 6-inch line, they decided not to run him 2 times in a row, which was very curious by Dykes and company there. But Michigan, I think about the schedule and the quarterbacks that they played. You mentioned Maryland, Tunga Bailoa, he'll throw it and he runs it a little bit. Sean Clifford hit Michigan for a big run in the game October 15th. So, but other than that, they've pretty much faced guys that want to stay in the pocket. So, the dual threat ability there of Duggan, who's a real gamer, that seems to be the key for the Michigan defense to me. And that vertical passing game.
Yeah, I mean, they're just schematically. I'm looking at what they do on offense, and it's pretty similar to what and athletically, it's pretty. And listen, we didn't exactly shut Maryland down. That's my point. Maryland had a running athletic quarterback that could throw, and they ran him enough, and they had a big running back, and but I think this. I don't know that their run game is we got to be great against the pass. And this is a team we can really get a handle on slowing that run game down. But they got some really outstanding receivers. The Baylor game, I was actually kept that game, and I took a peek at it. That's a game that I really liked. For our offense, we'll really be looking at that game because Baylor runs a lot of stuff that we run, a lot of tight ends, a lot of the same plays we run, same formations, and they had success running the ball with those formations. So that's a game I know our coaches will be looking at. But so will TCU. They know what they did against Baylor, and they might tweak things and do some things different. But I liked it schematically. I liked it personnel wise, physically. I liked it because Baylor was moving the ball from the just initial peek I took out of their tight ends in their heavy formations.
We got a lot of time to talk about Michigan and TCU the rest of the year leading up to New Year's Eve. And I'm not going to be tired of talking about the matchup of the college football semifinals. This is what you wait for your entire life. So I don't think people are going to get tired of listening to it or watching it. Michigan, TCU, let's go. And as you already talked about, Scar, you said it like, last year it was Georgia. That was going to be a tough matchup. The 7, whatever they had, NFL guys, all those first round picks, everything else. They've got a lot of good players. But yeah, watching Ohio State and Georgia took it out. This is a better matchup, for Michigan rather than taking on those guys are heavyweights, and this, it's not going to be a pushover, but it's not quite the the same. But one of those two teams, just looking past at a championship type situation, it's never going to be easy. But you think about Michigan being able to do it here, having a shot. You only have how many shots are you going to have in your lifetime to win a national championship, and Michigan's they're in a great position to be able to play for one. It's awesome, that part.
Yeah, we've got the players, we got the coaches, and we couple. Win this game, a game that I think we should win, and then we get that next one. A couple tip balls our way. They turn, a little break here and there. That's what it takes sometimes to win a championship. But the things are playing out right. We've got everything in place to get it done.
What I like is that in Michigan football history, when I go back to '97, that was the last year. Even though I didn't like the coaches and the writers deciding who was going to be, the champion, but it was under those old rules that were there for, in college football history. Then they went to the BCS after that, but that Michigan was able to get Ohio State before they scrapped divisions and being able to do it last year. I thought that was big. Now being able to come back and seem like maybe they've turned the tables here on the Buckeyes, winning on the road, and then who knows? When you get into an expanded playoff. My point here is now they're getting a shot at the college football playoff with just 4 and for 2 years in a row. I like that because in 2024 is going to be 12 teams, and who knows how that's going to be and all the differences here. So they're getting a shot at these different levels.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we could win it at different levels. Old Fielding H won it in his way, and Coach Carr won it with those rules that he dealt with, and hopefully Jim can get one here with this structure. And yeah, good point, Danny.
There you go, Scar. You the point of picking games. You did a great job this year picking games, better than anybody in the country. You're right at the top. An incredible clip of picking against the spread, and I'm going to ask you to pick. I know you've been looking at the bowl season and everything else, but is there any games or anything or any game that is standing out to the sharp Scar?
Well, USC, they are a team reliant on the coach and the quarterback. And that guy has done a great job as a coach, and he's got the quarterback, but the quarterback got hurt last week. We were rolling. I had USC last week, and that game was looking real good, and then the kid got hurt. Yep. And that's the problem with being such a quarterback-reliant football team, which Jim knows tries not to be. Anyway, so we lost last week. Army-Navy game is the only game this week I want to talk about. In looking at the bowl games, Danny, we were talking earlier, trying to figure out how to bet on a bowl game now. I think you're crazy because we don't know who's playing in these games. Other than the Final Four teams, there's a lot of good players that are going to sit out these bowl games. You think you have a beat on maybe the Penn State game or some of these other games. You don't know which guy's sitting out. So I wouldn't make any bets for a good while on that. Army-Navy is this weekend. I've been to that game. I watched that game. I've watched those teams play. They run the same stuff. And I think Army's just a little more physical. And it's only 1 point. Army's given 1. So I would take Army. I think they're the tougher team. Playing in Philadelphia again. You take Army, they're the tougher of the 2 football teams. Army will win you money.
You went last year to that game, right?
Last year, yeah. What a beautiful event. Sold out, just a real patriotic environment and great football game. If you like just, that kind of football, which I do. And, good 2 tough teams running the ball. And I like looking at all that stuff, the option and how they block it and the things these guys do is just amazing. And they're not the biggest guys. I went to a Navy practice years ago, and Coach Ken, he said, I said, where we? He said, you could go wherever you want. He didn't care. I was right behind the huddle. These guys are scrimmaging. He didn't care. The high school coaches could go wherever they wanted. And I walked on that field. These guys were all 6'2", 6'3", offensive linemen, 6'3". I was tower. These guys were not. They just don't recruit those real big kids, and just smart, tough kids. They run what they run because they can't recruit 6'5", 200. The type of kids that the other guys are recruiting. So their system is based on what they can recruit.
Yeah, it's not like back when Roger Staubach was playing for Navy or those late 40s teams. A couple of those halfbacks that Army had. Late in the 40s or maybe 48, 49 in there. That's pretty good players. All right. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. I'll be watching. I'm with that coming up this Saturday. Well, that gets us to this past Saturday, and you've loaded up some plays, and we're going to go through it a little bit, right?
Yeah, let's get it done here. You got me up there, Denny?
I do right now.
Okay, cover the kick. This is just, I always talk about special teams, and I like the fact that we'll get a nice kick. That is a beautiful kick into the corner, good design. And now watch this cover. Watch how we cover this kick. And this number 88, this guy, I should know his name. He's a young tight end, and I'm sorry, 88.
Hibner.
But I like it. It's the way to start the football game.
Hibner.
And here we. Okay. Oh, that's great. So anyway, here's their first drive. We get them 3rd and 14, 32-58 in front. So now we bring in the pass rushers and the exotic stuff. And these, this is when we can really get some pressure. We're not playing run so much, but we bring in an edge player here. This is an edge player here. And I think we got Upshaw here. So they take out Jenkins. And now and they know we do a lot of different stunts, but we really don't. Now I think we just kind of base a base rush here, but it still helps. We cheat up our backer in there a little bit, and we get push from Mozzie. We get a little push from Mozzie up front in the middle, and he makes the quarterback kind of step out, and then Harrell is still fighting in there. It's not like Harrell beat this guy clean off the edge. He's punching. You see him there working inside, and then he comes off the block, and that's a great way to start the game. But that was good pressure from Mozzie, good coverage. And let's look at our first drive here. We get them 3rd and 9. Okay, I pointed this out because here's number 6. Take what they give you. Know where the first down marker is, and this is a great job by him. Understanding Purdue was a lot of zone at times, a lot of zone, because I think that's Ron English. That he goes back. He's a Michigan coach with Lloyd, and a lot of those guys that played in that era, a lot of zone coverage guys. But let's take what they give you. We get good protection, so the crossing route takes a good while. You got to give good protection on these crossing routes because it takes time. So JJ finds it. And and CJ gets the first down just enough. So good to see a receiver smart enough to know what to get, know where the yard marker is, and get the first down. Here's 3rd and 6, the same drive. I got JJ doing his thing, wearing out the defense, and 8 find a spot. Ronnie Bells finds a spot. JJ's running around. And, you got to know where to find the spot so your quarterback can find you. But this is why we got the best quarterback in the Big Ten. This is the stuff. Purdue, Denny, I'll tell you, this Ron English, he did a good job. These guys are smart. And many times they did some good things. They're getting good pressure. They're getting good push up the middle. This guy's got leverage. This guy's got leverage here. And what do you do as a coach? And then this guy he does this. These are 270-pound defensive linemen. It's frustrating as a coach. And now you see JJ finding eyes up, athleticism, looking, and Ronnie Bells knows where to get, gives him a little window, keeps the drive alive. That's frustrating as a coach for Ron English because he had him boxed in a little bit.
Yeah, you got to tip. If you're on the Purdue side, when I was watching that live, I thought that he had gone over the line of scrimmage, but the wherewithal, that's the NFL now. You watch, that's quarterbacking now. You watch the NFL. These guys, even Jared Goff's able to spin around and get away. It's a lot easier said than done, but you got to be able to do that. If you're a stationary quarterback, you're in trouble. So being able to make moves like that and get away from the pass rush and then run it up and know where that line of scrimmage is and being able to at the last second, but you can't really do anything about that if you're a defense except to say, man, let's just go back and see if we can try. Great job by JJ and company there.
Yeah, and just smart and athletic. Purdue, good defense. But, again, many times these guys are right there. And we run, this is the very next play. And, this is a run formation, run personnel, 2 tight ends. But we're hard to predict, hard to figure out. First down, and here we are. We're going to run the wheel route here, and we're going to score a touchdown. We got our big tight end, and he's covered. He's covered. JJ throws it right where it has to be, and the big athletic tight end jumps up and makes a catch. But I like this because this is a run pass formation, run pass down. Michigan's hard to figure out. Good throw and catch. I mean, things couldn't get off to a better start. We stuffed them on defense. You know, Denny, we take our first drive down. So here's their second drive. This is I got quick passing, chop blocks. I just wanted to point it out. It pisses me off as a former defensive player. I don't know that Barrett is reading his keys. We're playing zone here. Play your keys, read the routes. You got to read the routes. And again, Brom does some things here that you know, they give you some problems at times. So he just, you know, Barrett was a little overran it a little bit. Okay, he sees the tight end come across. His eyes should be looking for this curl route, because this guy's coming in the flat. He should have his eyes here and be in a position to tackle him right there. But the chop blocks kind of irritates me, but it's allowed, and you got to learn to handle it. See how they're chopping there, Denny?
Yeah, I see them. I don't like it. They have put the rule in, if somebody is engaged, you can't go chopping them from the side, which is good.
That's another player. If another player is blocking you high, the other guy can't block you low. But you got to be an athlete, get your hands down, and then try to, because this is quick passing. You know, this is going to be a quick pass when they're chopping you like this. So you got to be an athlete, get your hands down on them, and then try to get up on your feet. But anyway, Barrett's got to be better. We got to be better and get them tackled there, and they keep it. They keep that, convert that first down. So just want to point that out. This is another good Jeff Brom scheme. Great scheme, attacking our zone. He knows the weaknesses of what we got. They shoot this back in the flat. They got a tight end, a receiver. So they basically get three guys where we got two. In this formation, maybe they know we're in zone. Let's take a look. So we're rushing four. We got the tight. Barrett is honoring the tight end from the outside. So he's him and the linebacker got a clamp on this tight end, and then he just throws it out in the flat. So it's frustrating. It's short yardage, and it's short stuff, and they. I thought there was a little. Let's see. We get into the next. Let me get to the next play here. Oh, here's the confusion. This is the next play down, and I thought there was some confusion. Whenever you have two guys together like this in zone coverage, there's a problem. And this play it started right here, but we're a little confused. One guy is wrong, so let's see how it plays out. And again, they throw it right over where the other guy should have been. So you got to be. That's why these coaches, though, Danny, will run all these different formations, all this motion, all this stuff to try to confuse you, and it works at times. And the Michigan defense got confused there. Okay, here's 1st and 10, and they're putting a little motion here, and we got to tackle here. We got to tackle. We had that happen last week against Ohio State, right, Denny? Remember we had. I think Rod Moore came up and missed, but we got good leverage here outside, kicking it back in. He's got a right shoulder tackle this thing. But again, this is not an unathletic kid, and he goes right through it. That's too many yards. That's 14 yards. And, today's football, TCU is going to have athletes out there. We got to tackle in space, break down, tackle in space, and we just don't get it done there. That's too much. Way too much. So this is their first drive still. A lot of Boilermakers in the house. This kid's a pretty good receiver, man. Let's look at the next play. Doesn't look right. Let's see. What the heck do I mean? I forget what I had here. Let's see. Doesn't look right. The adjustment doesn't look right.
Yeah, it looks like one of those guys should have went with the slot guy there, right?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how they're coaching this. Because I'm always not quick to yell at the kid. I want to know, why isn't he working with more depth here? So he reads pass, and now he's feeling the motion. So that affects what's going on with his drop. And this guy should be working more back in here, and then we're going to break on this short route. But for some reason, I think this linebacker should be deeper. And again, they're smart. They know that he's trying to throw it right over the underneath coverage. Denny, we have, we got underneath coverage, and then you got over the top coverage, and they're throwing it right, in that soft spot in between it. And I'm just wondering if we should have got our linebacker with a little more depth, but Brom's not stupid.
No, good coach.
This was something that, I looked at this play, and this is one of our worst play. I think this is one of the worst plays of our defense all year. One of the worst plays on defense all year. There's missed tackles. I don't like our we got to be smarter. This guy has a wide split here, Denny. You always have to look at splits as a defensive football player, a front seven football player. Splits mean something. This kid has a big split for a reason, because they want to run the football there. So I would tighten up as a defensive end player. The wider they go, the tighter you get, because that means they're trying to widen you out to run the football in there. And I thought, Brown, this is a good scheme. I just don't think we're smart enough with this formation, and then we sure as heck don't tackle. So you see why I think they widened him out with his alignment, Benny? So now this guy is further out. So this guard is going to, there's a bigger gap in there. And now our linebacker has got to take on this big tight end. And there's a huge, there's just a big hole in there. But he doesn't take it on. Barrett's got to take him on, I think, with the outside shoulder, and then entrust Junior to handle this gap. And he's got to punch and come over the top to make the play here. I think we end up with two guys inside of that tight end block. We end up with him. You see where if Barrett were to come over the top, and then Barrett's got to tackle this guy here.
So does 6.
Yeah. He's that's he's got a right shoulder tackle that thing, and it's just not good tackling. It's one of the worst plays for the Michigan defense all year. So that gave them hope. That gave them life. But let me take a look at that again. That view, I just want to quickly take a look at it. You can see the split there. You can see the big split, and we got to be smarter. Anyway, he took a wide split here. This tight end had a wider split, so that this is a wider gap. So this is a bigger hole. And let's move on. We got this ends up being empty. This is 3rd and 4. This is their field goal drive. So what Michigan's doing here is we're giving more help. We got a safety over here helping, because they got to bet this guy. Michigan's really concerned about this kid. So these three have no help. Just want to point that out. And they really emphasize stopping this kid, this 15 there. But we get it stopped. We get off the field here. Smart defenses. They know, make them throw it to one of the guys. Make them beat you with one of these other stiffs. Denny, don't let them beat you with their top guy. So Michigan's doing that. They're saying, we're not going to let this guy beat you. So make one of them other lamb chops step up. Good pressure and coverage, great throw and catch. And you're going to see a lot of that. Those kind of statements with this Purdue football team. I mean, they protect pretty darn good. And this kid throws a good pass, and Rod Moore, we're playing. Looks like it's what is this coverage here? This is a zone. Looks like it's maybe it's at a 3 deep coverage and zone, and he's the middle safety. But he's reading this, he's right there, and the kid just makes a real good throw. The receiver has his body, between him and it's the same kid, number 15. So, but good throw, good catch. It happens. And this is this same concept, great pass concept, tough to defend. They got three routes. And again, they must know we're in zone. And let's see how we defend it. So they know, look, they got the tight end running. The tight end's going to run right here. So this linebacker honors that. This linebacker honors that. And then he's going to honor that. And then they're just throwing it to this guy underneath. So he's honoring the flat. Junior's honoring the tight end. And then there's a problem here with the third guy. And they know it. The coaches know it. They know the weakness of the defense. And they're smart enough to find it. No defense is perfect. So tip your hat to Purdue. And that's why we don't do the same thing all the time. But this was a big play, great tackle. Number 2. 3rd and 12. They run a crossing and they try to pick him here. But we're in the red zone. You're going to see that many times. They're going to try to pick him. Watch this tight end. He tries to pick him. See how he tries to run into him? He avoids it. That's a great tackle by the future All-American. Johnson, great job. Field goal. Red zone, kicking field goals. Getting this kid back for Michigan is huge, Denny. Getting Scooney back in the game, because teams know when he's in the game, Michigan will run the football here. When 18 has his hand on the ground, it's different. They're not honoring it as much. Now they got to play runner pass. Running away from Scooney was good in this game. 86 back in the game. It's just a bigger deal with him in the game. So let's see what this play is. He's in the football game, and it's a pass here. And JJ finds him. It's just, you'll see at different times. I think when we got our run game going, we run away from 86. And that's when I think you'll see later on, I think we got some things going, because teams are overplaying him at the point of attack. It takes a team, coaching, players, executing 3-level versus a zone. So again, our coaches are smart too. Okay, we know what Purdue's doing. So we're running a 3-level scheme against a 2-zone deal. We got 3 guys over there. And we got a deep guy here. We got a mid-range guy here, and we got a short guy here. And they only got 2 guys covering it. You see Denny in that zone?
Yeah.
And
it's a good throw.
Yeah, it's a good throw, but it's smart coaching. Look at the great protection. It's the whole deal. That's why I say it takes a team. People want to always talk about the one guy, but it's the whole deal. Look at the protection. Look at the scheme, coaching. Look at the throw. Look at the catch. It's everybody, man. So just want to point it out. It takes a team. That's everybody doing their part for that play to be successful. I got thanks, Ben. You know what Ben I'm talking about?
Bredesen?
Big Ben Herbert, 4th and 1, Denny, 4th and 1. They didn't have a chance. And that's number 20, running the ball in there. This kid, he just see the physicalness, secure the ball. First down, Michigan. Good job. Ben Herbert, thanks a lot, buddy. This is the drive, what I was talking about, that gave me confidence, Denny, because here we got 86 over here. I think that's 80, or is 8. Well, let's take a look. Yeah, we're running away from 86, which is good stuff.
Hey, 18 says we could run the ball when I'm in there. He took on a tackle there, Scar. You better apologize.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better blocking that. Kicking out of defensive end. This is a big collision, man. And you do this 13 weeks in a row, it wears on your body. And I think this is the kind of stuff, some of the stuff that got Schoonmaker hurt. These are big collisions. That collision right there, Denny.
Yeah.
You do that, in practice all week, and then you do it in a game. That's not no soft kid, but that's a good, well-blocked team, and Donovan's running hard in there. And that was the drive that really started to give me hope.
Yeah, I thought Purdue was pretty hard. I looked at it, I thought, man, that's a hard-hitting team in there. At least Edwards looked like he was taking some punishment, but he was jumping back up. Good job. Yeah,
this is why I think we got the best quarterback in the Big Ten. You can have Stroud. Really, I'm totally serious. You can have that kid. I want this guy. I want this guy right here that can run and throw. And this is 3rd and 4. Okay, 3rd and 4. We're going to throw the ball. And look, we got.
Yeah, Scar for a second. All right.
And throws it.
Repeat what you said there. You dropped off for a second. Go ahead and repeat. You dropped off for a second. Go ahead and repeat what you said there.
Oh. Denny, I just think that we got the best quarterback in the Big Ten. This guy can avoid. I don't know what their scouting report is. This guy here can run. And, this guy rushes up in here like he doesn't know that this guy can run. But anyway, this is the difference. This is why I take our guy above any quarterback in the Big Ten. That's a great throw, great, making something, avoiding the pressure, and good luck defending that. Stroud ain't making that play. So here we are. They're driving the ball, 3rd and 12. Again, we get no help here, and this is a number 2. Let's run it back a little bit. Let's take a look here. 3rd and 12. Number 2's by himself. Adam, the real deal. Aiden, the real deal. Okay, this kid can throw, man. And we got him boxed in. We get good pressure here. I mean, this is why this kid's a good player. We get people right in his face. He doesn't have any help, and he throws a dime with all that pressure, and he's covered. And it's just an impressive play by their quarterback. And we chose not to give help there to him on that play, and just good play by Purdue, man. It was sometimes you tip your hat to the opponent. To be great, got to make plays. This is the red zone. Let's see what Michigan guy makes a big play. Oh, well, we don't make the big play. And I wanted to point this out because we got to catch that ball. We got to catch that ball to win a national championship. And there's an opportunity, catch the football. Just want to point it out. We want to be great. And here's Rod Moore making a big play. He does a good job. You call the safety for a reason, and very seldom has he missed guys all year. So we missed the tackle there, and he gets him down. So, I learned as a coach a long time ago, man. And I remember Bear Bryant saying, you put your best two athletes at your defensive ends and your free safety. And I understand it. And he wrote that book a long time ago, but I understand why you better have a safety that can tackle and get guys on the ground. Because if they break it in here, you better have a good player there that could give you a chance. Get the guy on the ground. So that's a good job by Rod Moore. I have a question mark here. I'm wondering what the heck we're doing. It's 3rd and 4. Okay, this is the JJ type versus the statue. This is 3rd and 4, and this is the difference. Right now, what would JJ think, Danny? Look at this. You got him kind of pinned in a little bit. What would JJ do in that situation? He's off and running. But this kid doesn't have the ability to do that. Okay, so that's why it's so big that your quarterback that can run. And our end has, his pass rush can be a little different knowing that. I told you I played that position, and the first thing I wanted to know when I came in that film room on Monday is how fast is this guy? Because it changes everything. So we get pressure. He doesn't have the ability to run. He throws it away. And we're back with red zone defense again. So great stop. Okay, here we go. This is the first play now this is the very first play of the second half. We come out in a formation we haven't run. So they get together at halftime and they say, we're going to come out with the tight ends and we're going to go heavy over here and let's see how they adjust. So this is a frustrating play as a defensive coach because Ron English, he has a guy right there. This kid is he's right there, in the gap. But he just, Donovan jukes him real quick, and is it a problem schematically, no. The defense, Ron English is had them lined up right, and but this is why you recruit athletes, and Donovan just he's got all that field there, and he's made that run. He's made that run many times, and knowing how to juke guys, and it's just a good job by him. The play is blocked. A great scheme, well blocked. 20 running hard. This is the stuff I see what they like in this kid. Let's take a look. It's 3rd and 2. I mean, look at the physicalness. That's what they like. They see him play linebacker, hitting dudes, and they he probably played running. Obviously he played running back in high school, and Michael Hart's got him secure the football. So I like seeing that. Here we are. Here we are on the goal line. We brought the big boys in. Here's a guard right here. Here's El Hadi right here playing in the backfield. We got our 3rd tackle. That's Jones in the game. And we got all these big dudes in here. We got a tight end playing at fullback, and the ball's on the 1 yard line, and we just get movement. We just keep moving. It's not there initially, but it ends up being there. Great technique. We're underneath guys, and we get them moved out. That's a great scheme. And of course, our kicker hadn't missed.
Buffalo.
Here's first. Yeah, here's 1st and 10. And again, we're up 8, but Michigan and Weiss and Moore and Harbaugh, we're not just gonna just pound it in there. We got a little different formation here. We got 3 guys here. These are 3 offensive linemen. Got 2 tight ends over here. We haven't run this formation. I haven't seen it maybe once, but maybe they saw something. They saw something here. We get Scooney coming across, and we found a weakness in their level defense also. So they're doing the same things to us. 3rd zone. We get him over the top of the linebackers. Get their safety moved over. Like Joel was explaining on that, and that's good coaching, and we protect it and we throw it in there. I thought this was his best run. We scored a touchdown here. We're up 8. It's 1st and 10. We've got a tight end here. I think that's a tight end here. We got 2 tight ends in the game, so they have bigger personnel in the game, but we spread them out. So we spread the formation with 2 tight ends in the game. Yeah, that's 2 tight ends, and we look at this, Denny. He just makes this guy whiff. Again, this is if you're Ron English, you're like, okay, I got a good defense here. This guy right here is in the hole. He's unblocked. And look what Donovan does. Makes him miss.
Nice.
That's why, as a defensive coach, when I looked at that when I was coaching, I'm like, I used to tell my coaches, I like, hey, I know we like to blame ourselves all the time as coaches for everything that happens, but we just got to, sometimes they got pretty good kids, man. And I think this is his best. Go ahead.
I was going to say, count the missed tackles as you're talking there.
Yeah. The play is blocked. We block it here, but they got an extra guy. So schematically, this is they defended it. Okay. And now, there's a miss. And there's a miss there, and there's a miss, and this is just
5, 6.
That's just not. I think it's his best run ever as a Wolverine. So that's good.
Great, good job.
Great throw and catch. We get pressure. We get pressure again. This kid's good, man. Good coverage. God, this 15. I'm glad we don't got to deal with these guys anymore. We're getting some pressure too. Bring a guy, and it's right in his face. We got a linebacker there. And, like I say, I don't know that they're going to throw the ball better than Purdue, but TCU. Anyway, let's see what we got here. I've never seen this before. Here's 3 guys here, bunch formation. Oh, this is the flea flicker, the fake flea flicker. I've never seen it before. I mean, that's Jeff Brom, man.
Nice.
We've never seen it. These are the little things this is how you can beat guys. If someone has better players than you better have this kind of stuff. You got to outcoach them. And, that's just a good scheme, man. Now you're going to see that play. You're going to see it all around the country next year. Watch. And they get us, man. They pick up yards on it. Wearing that number for a reason. Here's number 2. And it's 1st and 10. And that's just a great, again, I talked about this after the game that, some of this stuff, he's looking at the personnel. He's looking at the down and distance. He's looking at the split. These things, this kid is smart. He's what do they like to run in this situation? It isn't just happening as it happens, and he positions his body. He knows he has help there, but that's just a great play, great athletic play, gets us off the field. This is a 4-point saving tackle by Rod Moore here. This is 19. This is 3rd and 1. But again, this is Jeff Brom. So you got to think differently. 3rd and 1. You'd like to come up and be a safety and come up and tackle. And he's a little aggressive at first. That one step, that one step forward too much got him out of position, but he recovers. And at least he gets this kid who's got about 60 pounds on him. He gets him on the ground. Did he deflect the ball? No, but he gets him on the ground, a big kid, and it kept him, and we were able to keep him to a field goal in this drive. So that's a 4-point tackle there. Adjusting, not always easy. 0 off the edge. So we're confused here. They got 3 receivers here, 1 here, 1 back. We are confused, but coach has a scheme. We're going to bring Sanistril off the edge, but you're going to see confusion. How are we lined up? They're talking. They got their hands in the air. There's confusion. Nobody knows. Come on over. But they still had this defense called. So we get lucky. That they're running the ball over here. Because if he would have pulled this thing out and thrown it to his tight end over here, we got problems because we're confused. So we get a break here that we get the right defense. And for whatever reason, he gave him the football there. Maybe it was predetermined, but we weren't always lined up properly Saturdays. This is a 7-point tackle here because if he misses this, I mean, he's got him in the air, but it's a good tackle still. I just wanted to point that out. Why we bring 3 in edge players. So this is, again, here's red zone, 3rd and goal, Denny. But this is why we bring in the 3 fast guys. We take a defensive lineman out, take Jenkins or Mozzie out. We bring in 3 fast edge guys because they're a little more athletic. They're going to rush the quarterback a little better, and we get off the field. I mean, we hold them to a field goal. So just here's Taylor Upshaw. He's a good pass rusher. Here's Oki coming underneath. Good pressure. That's why we bring in the 3 guys.
Like the Giants did in their Super Bowl run. They had a lot of defensive ends that they would put them in, line them up, and tackle.
Yeah. You do that because that's one of the disadvantages of having big, interior 3 techniques is it hurts you on the pass rush. You need them to defend the run. Here's 3rd and 3. Michigan comes out empty with 2 tight ends. And so we're not afraid to come out empty. And here's JJ again. What are these? He finds something there. But so, here's the problem. As a defensive end, these guys are, it's like, I don't understand this, though. I mean, you got to come out here, man, and let them step up in the pocket. I don't understand how some of these teams are, what scouting report they're looking at. But this kid lets them get outside, and JJ finds – is that Ronnie Bell?
Yes.
Finds Ronnie Bell there. So, we're not afraid to come out empty. JJ, first big mistake in a while. He's got so much time here. We saw this interception, and I don't know what he's seeing. And they're just great protection. He's running around all day, and he saw something. But luckily, this isn't something that happens regularly. And the coaches don't rip him, and he's back in the game doing what he does. Great throw and catch, good coverage, TCU or Purdue. This is what I'm saying. Who would I rather defend, TCU or Purdue? This kid is something. Look at his pass. I mean, look at that. That's not a lamb chop team that we beat. These guys beat a lot of good teams, man. The coverage is pretty darn good. It's it's just a perfect pass. So it happens. But great between the 20s. Yeah, here you go, Purdue. You're great between the 20s. And more of this. We get them tackled. You're great between the 20s. Now you're in our wheelhouse. Now we're down in the red zone. Now you got to have a run game. And people want to, again, beat up our coach. We want to run the ball. Well, look at these guys. Now you're going to throw all the time. You got to throw down here. That's all they want to do down here, throw. I pointed this out because you want to keep the quarterback running. And it looks like we got him boxed in. And even though, he steps up in the pocket, I like Okie here. This is Okie coming. This is why this kid was a highly recruited kid. He comes from the backside. I guarantee you that quarterback can feel that. Even though he's behind him, he feels it. And he can't throw an accurate pass. But that's another red zone stop. Great job. Denny, as a coach, we all got our little quotes. And I used to quote Clint Eastwood. A man has to know his limitations. My players heard this from me for 25 years. So Clint Eastwood, he said that in the movie Magnum Force. A man has to know his limitations. So if I run 4.6 and he runs 4.4, then I better have a different angle on how I come up and tackle. Right, Denny? You know what I mean? I better know my limitations compared to this guy. So this guy should have taken a different angle, knowing how fast this kid is, but he doesn't. Donovan just gets outside of him. What do you think of my quote? A man has to know his limitations.
I love you quoting. It's a great one. Josie Wales is, my favorite, but
future All-American, number 2, baby, and we got him. What a play there. Again, this is smart. This is a smart kid, smart coaching. He's reading the split. He's reading it 2nd and 10. He knows what they like. He must know what kind of help he has over the top. This just isn't just happening. All those things are going through his mind. Gets a good break, makes a catch. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a great play. And he's got number 2 on for a reason. You know who wore number 2, right?
Yeah, I think I do. I think that it was Hawkins last year wore it.
Well, I was thinking more Charles Woodson.
Oh, yeah. He's good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Anyway, everything is perfect here. And maybe it's a Purdue breakdown, but, protection's great. Throw and catch. Look at the protection. Nothing there. And we get a great throw. This is a really, really an accurate throw. Not a big window. But I think maybe there's a little breakdown by Purdue. What coverage are they in? Yeah. Well, no, I think they're probably in 3 coverage, and that's just that post that's right there between them. Between the corner and the safety, and he finds it and makes them pay. So that's a great protection, great throw and catch. All right, here we go. 2-point conversion. This is where I thought Coach Jim might have bet on the game because the line was 16.5. Anyway, I have defended this. Denny, I've defended this for 25 years, and there's a lot of different versions of it. Some people, the way Michigan ran it, this guy is eligible. He's got a tight end number on, and I think he is a tight end. And he's eligible. Some people will put a guy here, a running back here, that they throw it back over here. Sometimes people will detach a guy here and have 2 or 3 in here and a detached receiver there. But as a coach, you got to be ready for all this different stuff.
Are those guys all on the line there? They got 6 on the line. Is that?
Yeah, these 6 are on the line of scrimmage. Okay, and that's 7 on the line of scrimmage. So this is a legal formation, and he's an eligible receiver. But so you don't think about covering the center.
No,
defensively, you don't think about that. I mean, he's not the guy that catches the 2-point conversion, but I like the fact that it's creative. it gives you problems. And I defended a team that ran this as a offensive play, on first down, you know what I mean, in the middle of the field. So I've seen.
Before you run it, why is the center? I thought that if you're up on the line of scrimmage, that you cannot be eligible.
Yeah, but he's at the end of the line. He's at the end of the line, and he has an eligible number. He's got an 89 number on him. So he's eligible because he has that number, and he's at the end there. So,
all right.
But he ends up finding, because they cover the center. I give this team credit. They covered the center, but they don't cover Scooney in here. Two guys go to the one guy. That's why, you can't prepare for everything as a coach. Some of these plays, these guys are drawn up. You just don't know what the heck. And I give Purdue credit. Coach English had them almost ready, but they didn't have the answer for the tight end.
You got
anyway, I like that. It's in.
All right.
Go ahead, Danny.
No, I was going to say.
Anyway, I like that. What was that?
I was going to say, they got three tight ends there. All three of those tight ends were in the route. He had an option with three tight ends, and he could have thrown it, or he could have run it. So,
yeah. So it's it's tough on the defense. I think this Purdue offensive line was well coached. They picked up a lot of. Here we are, stunning. They pick up a lot of our stuff, and this kid makes another great play. So, hey, I tip my hat to him, man. I'm glad this kid's gone. We saw him for 6 years. I'm glad because we play him next year. I'm glad they'll have some other kid in there. So great throw and catch. They protect it well. So here we go. 3rd and 8, back in the red zone. You got to throw. Nice knob, number 2 here. I just thought this was good coverage. Nothing there. Go ahead, kick another field goal. Red zone defense, man. That's going to be a huge factor in this TCU game too now. Red zone defense. Onside. Ball flat. They got the ball flat here, Danny. Did you know? Do you notice it? People, I don't know if people notice that they don't put the ball, straight up on the team. Sometimes they don't even use a tee. They just put it right in the ground. I've seen that. But he's just, it's kind of just flat, and he's just going to punch it out there. And
watermelon kick, call that one.
Yeah, just a watermelon. That's just, it's not easy to do. I just want to. That's a special team play that is a big play there. Let's get to the next play. They defended us there. Let's see what we got coming up. A couple more plays. This is 4th and 2. And what I like about the old Jim Harbaugh philosophy of what he did at Stanford is you're just blocking down, Danny. These guys are just blocking down. They're not blocking a guy. They're just told, block down. Anything that shows. So you're not hesitant in your stance. You're just coming off the ball, firing. Anything that shows up, you're moving it. So that's how we're blocking this thing. And now we force a guy off the edge, to make a play. But you get an aggressive offensive line. So we get movement there. And now you defensively, I don't know why you would have that guy back. I don't know why the hell Ron English has this kid so far off. But anyway, we move them. We come off and block down. And again, look at this Mullings kid. This is good to see, man. This is really, really good to see. The toughness. He's moving people. The line's moving people. I like that play. Another good run by Donovan that's blocked in there.
Yeah, good run.
Yeah, good run, good block. Where are we at here? I see why they like 20 again. I see why they like 20. It's 1st and goal. Let's take a look again. Look at him run over that line. Look at him run through that. Run through 2 tackles. That's the stuff. There's a kid right in that hole. This kid's right in that hole. He runs them over. Runs both of them over. That's good. Old school player. This is number 2 again. The kid just scored a touchdown. This is our number 20. 2 old school, 2-way. Chuck Bednarik. You remember those guys?
Chuck Bednarik ended. Was it Jack Tatum at the Bednarik Tatum play? God.
No, but Bednarik played in the early 60s. He played center and he played linebacker back when guys played both ways. But this is a two-way player. He made a tackle now. He's got a touchdown and he's got a tackle. Denny, that's it, man. Big Ten champs. We're rolling. Let's get back. Oh, what did I do here, Denny?
I don't know.
Anyway, there we are. But that's it for that. And it's a great Michigan win. We played against a team whose quarterback was really, really good, really, really smart, really, really accurate, offensive coach. You know, to hold them to the amount of points we did, I really, tip our hat to our defense, because the red zone defense was outstanding. Could you imagine what they're saying in West Lafayette? If that was Michigan red zone, we'd be going crazy, right? You know how well our defense. So people are asking Jeff Brown, Coach, what was wrong with your red zone offense? You know the answer? Michigan defense. That was the answer.
Yeah, if I was a Purdue fan, I think I would have wanted him to go for it maybe once or twice down there instead of kicking the field goal. But I understand what he was doing. Carter Seltzer, the tight ends in this game, there was a trio of them running in there on that extra point. I saw Joel Honingford, who pancaked that All-American defensive end. He was in there throwing his weight around. Seltzer, of course, is a tight end, 6'8". He recovered that onside kick. Bednarik, I mentioned Tatum. Tatum's known for one of the biggest hits in NFL history. Bednarik tackled Frank Gifford.
Frank Gifford, yeah.
And so he's known for that. I'll tell you, you're saying so much, and I agree. O'Connell, he can really throw it. But I'm going to just give you the numbers. O'Connell on the year, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions for the Boilers. You know what JJ's touchdown interception rate was, Scar? 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for JJ McCarthy. That one that you saw with all the time against Purdue, he had that one that was bounced off, a little bit fluky. You didn't think it was against Penn State. And then he had one down in the red zone early in the Big Ten season at Indiana. That's it. Those are the 3 interceptions. Pretty good job.
Yeah. No, he's that's good stats for JJ. And but the kid's he's a good player. He doesn't have the run game Michigan has to help him out, but I'm glad we're done with them. I'm glad we're done with Purdue. Back-to-back Big Ten champs, and we're rolling.
Great job, Scar.
All right, Denny. I'll be ready probably next Monday. We'll go at it again. I'll have a good, thorough breakdown of TCU. We'll maybe have some film on them. We'll break them down and tell you what we need to do to beat them.
I look forward to